Hello. I'm so glad you're here. You know that feeling, right? That feeling of being stuck. Like you're standing at the bottom of a massive mountain, and no matter how much you plan, no matter how hard you push, you just can't seem to start the climb. For years, I felt that way. I'd have these big dreams, these incredible goals, but something always seemed to get in the way. A relationship would fall apart, I'd second guess a career choice, I'd hit a wall and retreat. I used to look at the world around me, at my circumstances, at other people, and think, that's my problem. That's the obstacle. Then I read this book, The Mountain Is You by Brianna Wiest, and it hit me like a ton of bricks. It wasn't the world standing in my way. It was me. That mountain I was so terrified of climbing, it was me. It was my own mind, my own fears, my own self-sabotaging patterns. The book isn't a self-help cliche. It's a radical, loving truth bomb that forced me to look inward and realize that the biggest enemy I'd ever face was myself. Brianna Wiest's core message is that we are the architects of our own suffering. We unconsciously build these mountains out of our unhealed trauma, our limiting beliefs, and our deep-seated fears. She talks about how our brains are wired for survival, not for happiness. So when we try to do something new and scary, like starting a new business or being vulnerable in a relationship, our brain goes into panic mode. It throws up roadblocks, whispering doubts in our ear. You're not good enough. You'll fail. It's safer to stay where you are. And we listen. I listened to those voices for years. I would sabotage a good thing just to prove those voices right, because the certainty of failure felt less scary than the uncertainty of success. That was my mountain. It was a painful, raw realization, but it was also incredibly liberating. It meant that if I built the mountain, I could also be the one to climb it. So, how do you start the climb? The book gives you the tools. And the first one is about emotional resilience. This isn't about being tough or ignoring your feelings. It's the opposite. It's about being brave enough to feel them. Wiest explains that we often run from our emotions, whether it's anger, sadness, or shame. We numb ourselves with distractions, social media, overworking, toxic relationships. But those emotions are guides. They are the breadcrumbs leading us to our unhealed wounds. The book taught me to sit with my feelings, to journal about them, to understand where they were coming from instead of running from them. It's hard work, a gut-wrenching kind of hard. But on the other side of that pain is clarity. Another massive tool from the book is the idea of unlearning. We have all these outdated beliefs that we've carried with us since childhood, beliefs about what we deserve, what we're capable of, what love is. Wiest challenges us to re-examine these beliefs. Is that old story you're telling yourself about your worth really true? Or is it a narrative you adopted long ago that no longer serves you? I had to unlearn the belief that my value was tied to my productivity. The process of consciously choosing a new belief that I am worthy just by being felt like rebuilding my foundation from scratch. And that brings us to the ultimate point, the transformation. When you do this work, when you start to climb that mountain, something incredible happens. You stop being a passive victim of your life and become the conscious creator of it. You start making choices not from a place of fear, but from a place of love and alignment. You make choices that scare you a little, but also excite you. The journey isn't easy. There are days you'll want to slide back down to the bottom. But with every step you take, with every limiting belief you shed, the view gets a little clearer. You start to see yourself, your true self, for the first time. You see your potential not as a far-off dream, but as a path you are already walking. The feeling of reaching that summit isn't about a singular victory. It's about a fundamental shift in who you are. It's about the peace that comes from knowing you're no longer fighting yourself. that the energy you once spent on self-sabotage is now being channeled into building the life you've always wanted. So, if you're listening to this and you're feeling stuck, please know this. The mountain isn't an external force keeping you from your dreams. It's the unhealed parts of you. And the most empowering truth of all is that you have the tools to heal them. You have the strength to climb. You have the power to change your story. The mountain is you, and the only person who can conquer it is you.